but you have had more. So you just want to catch that lightning in a bottle again. And that's why you're mentally like exhausted all the time. Don't
Guava
get me wrong.
Juice's former 200 million view months have declined.
What the fuck are we watching? A guide to losing your entire audience. Well, you don't need an 11-minute video for this. I can actually say how to lose an audience. The Star Wars franchise with the 3 new movies. The movies from 7, 8, 9. That's a good way to lose your audience. That's probably the perfect example. Or the Witcher series. Like they have already lost a lot of their audience based on Henry Cavill's like input on what's gonna happen after and why did he leave the Witcher TV series, even though he loves the Witcher saga and the Witcher like story. But that's a good way to lose your audience.
By over 90%.
Oh wow, that's a big drop. So Guava Juice had 230 million views to 19 million.
With many of these recent views coming from shorts, as his long-form content gains roughly 100,000 views a video.
I have no idea who this is.
What on earth happened? Let's travel back to his absolute peak. January 2017, 249 million views. Why was he so successful at this point in time? By then, Guava Juice had already been on YouTube for over 11 years, during which it became apparent that he was incredibly talented at latching onto trends and had built an intuition for what was popular on YouTube at any one time. For example, his 2007 music video parodies were similar to what Smosh had become successful with, and by 2016 he was still competing with other top-tier gaming YouTubers like Vanoss. Unfortunately, this also meant that Guava hadn't really carved out a specific lane for his channel, which is a necessity for long-term YouTube growth. Well, arguably. You can get reasonable views by joining a genre and making a contribution. However, explosive growth usually comes from pioneering a brand new or underperforming genre, as Guava Juice would come to discover in mid-2016 after uploading a video simply titled Orbeez Bath Challenge. Now,
yeah, like if you want to, well, you can always like tag on to the YouTube trends if you want to. One would argue that the reaction genre is one of them, and I would just say that that's completely different because I'm doing it. No, that's actually true. Like, well, I just want to talk about videos, and I want to incite people to talk about subjects and such. So that's why I do reaction videos, and also because I'm quite lazy. You can call me lazy. I don't mind. That's the truth.
There was no denying that this video was targeted toward children. However, it still had many different elements of relatability, leading the video towards success. For example, anybody could access Orbeez, most people have a bathtub in their house, so it therefore posed this question of, well, what would be the outcome of this experiment if you did it for yourself? This made the video extremely enticing to click on, and once watching, Guava Juice then validated the audience by providing the exact outcome that everybody had clicked on the video for. A bathtub filled to the brim with Orbeez, which when combined with a cameo from Spider-Man, made for the perfect viral video. Each of Guava's bathtub uploads followed this similar premise of what would happen if you did this in your own house. There was always an element of curiosity. His Oobleck bath challenge even provided a guide for how to make the liquid, and it posed the question of, well, is he going to get stuck when it finally dries at the end of the video? His Lego bath challenge posed the question of, will he get hurt? While his Diet Coke and Mentos bath challenge implied that the Coke might fizz everywhere. Each episode was only 3 or 4 minutes long, so why not click and see the potential outcome? The short nature of the
I mean, those are pretty weird videos, but I understand that people are interested about things that are kind of weird, and that's why if you have an interesting thumbnail and a subject to the video, like people click on watching. I wouldn't watch a video where apparently he's pouring cheesy pops to the bathtub. Like, yeah, that's just not my thing. It's the same thing as like I don't watch people who scream, and that's why I don't scream and shout in my videos. I just monotone voice. I've grown past that.
Videos also meant that they didn't waste the audience's time and were optimized for watch time percentage. And while this goes against the classic trope of longer videos equals more watch time equals better performance, this has been disproven by people like David Dobrik, who have shown that 10 4-minute videos can be better for retention in comparison to one 40-minute video in its full entirety. Regardless, Guava Juice's videos were doing so well that even his water bath challenge cracked 5 million views.
Out of all the bath challenges I've done, I'm surprised I'd ever tried water.
Leading him to experiment with other types of content, in which he'd reveal another simple yet key success component. He was actually excited to make each video. Despite being in his mid-20s, you could tell that Guava Juice loved every piece of content, from making gummy pizzas to building a house out of red cups. This gave the videos a unique, enjoyable flavor, as it was obvious that he was happy to be there, which accompanied his cliche yet ideal philosophy of wanting to improve the content every single day.
As long as you consistently make an effort to do better every single day, things will definitely get better every single day.
However, Guava's explosion was also assisted by timing, as viral videos required significantly less time and effort back in 2017. Take for example this video titled "Do Not Jump on the Trampoline Ball Pit at 3 AM, in which the time is shown at the start of the video 3:06, as well as at the end of the video 3:29, meaning this entire episode took only 23 minutes to film. There were basically no props, no script, and the whole thing was shot in one take, meaning the video took only a couple of hours to complete after editing, and it's now received over 20 million views. To achieve
Well, that's the dream, like low effort content creating huge amount of like success. That's the dream of like what majority of the content creators desire for. Like you create content with minimal effort to gain the maximum amount. And that's the goal that everyone should have in their life, in general, like doing the minimum amount for the maximum amount of profit. Whether you're just a 9-to-5 worker like me, or whether you're a content creator, like you have more downtime, you have more free time, you have more like time to do other things than just sit and edit.
achieve that same kind of performance on any long-form video today requires at least 1 week's work, as well as maybe a team, maybe a budget, and even then pulling anything close to that number requires a perfect storm. Back then, however, Guava Juice was doing millions of views on every single video, almost all of which needed minimal planning and could have been completed in under a day. In the process, Guava Juice kept up with every trend from Fortnite to TikTok reactions until he'd dip his feet into a brand new video type that would take his channel to a whole new level, his 10 Things You Shouldn't Do series. In the beginning, it wasn't even supposed to be a series. However, after 10 Things You Shouldn't Do in an airplane gained a view count in the millions, Guava Juice doubled down with 10 Things You Shouldn't Do in the movie theater, 10 Things You Shouldn't Do at school, and 10 Things You Shouldn't Do on a train, each of which performing incredibly well, and it's really no wonder why. The videos were comedic, relatable, and had a bunch of effort put into them. They usually had multiple people per skit as well as a full set for every video, which made them extra unique, especially when combined with Guava Juice's absolutely insane style of comedy.
Don't be a food inspector!
Hello, my friend. How may I help you today?
Hello, I'm the food inspector. Could I have one of each food, please?
Sure thing. Follow me.
I love inspecting food.
Right this way, Mr. Food Inspector. You see, all the food should be right over there.
What is this?
You should have left Woody on the chance!
Master! Are you here to save me?
Now stay here for the rest of your life!
Dad? Daddy? Is that you? It's me, your son.
These videos went absolutely wild.
I mean, just seeing that small clip, I have to say that even if I accidentally watched his videos, I wouldn't probably watch them till the end. That humor is just not for me. Probably I understand that the viewer base is pretty young, and that sort of humor tutors towards them.
Throughout 2020, often gaining well over 10 million views. However, in April 2021, seemingly overnight, something began to change on the Guava Juice channel. He went from gaining over 100,000 subscribers every single month to almost complete stagnation, while his videos were suddenly struggling to achieve more than 1 million views. Why the sudden drop?
There's a new soap. Can you smell it?
The decline seemed to begin with a video by Danny Gonzalez, posted only 2 weeks prior, titled Guava Juice is Out of Control, in which Danny would critique the absolutely insane nature of every Guava Juice video in a fun and entertaining way.
It's just so hard to follow. It's like, is this even a story? Is there a plot to this? They're just like doing random things and crazy things are happening. He can't really subvert our expectations anymore because our expectation is just that something random is going to happen at all times.
The video received over 2 million views in less than a week, and while it acted as somewhat of a compliment, since Guava Juice was trying to make insane content, Danny's video would also act as a catalyst for the short-term retirement of the series. After uploading an episode on the 3rd of April, Guava Juice didn't post a 10 Things You Shouldn't Do episode until almost 3 months later on the 27th of June, after which it became obvious that the quality of the series had dropped off significantly. For example, Guava Juice's 10 Things You Shouldn't Do at Disneyland felt like it had been thrown together with no prior planning. There was no set, there were no characters, and the jokes felt random, but in a way that was more like, what the hell even is this anymore?
Don't feed the birds.
During the retirement of the series, Guava Juice had instead been uploading increasingly lazy content, such as Guava Juice Ranks Guava Juice videos, as well as old repackaged compilations, such as Best of Guava Juice 24-hour livestream, both of which subtly implying that the glory days of the channel were coming to an end, as was also indicated by the thumbnails. During his peak, the thumbnails felt clean, straightforward, and were on par with YouTube's meta at the time. And while some of his 2021 thumbnails were definitely on the cutting edge, there were others that felt crowded, dated, or just straight up confusing. The channel seemed to have been struggling from a lack of effort and innovation. However, there was actually a good reason for this. In December 2021, Guava Juice announced that he'd instead been spending his time on a kids TV series called The Guava Juice Show, which was about to release its very first episode on YouTube Originals. Guava displayed his confidence in the show by purchasing a billboard at LAX, and it was looking like this series could reignite the channel, although only in the beginning. The first 5 episodes performed reasonably well, averaging around 3 million views each. However, for whatever reason, the 6th episode gained only 150,000 views, with almost every episode afterwards following a similar trend. Guava and his team would produce a total of 13 episodes for the show, after which he'd upload a new video titled The End, in which Guava Juice was unusually upset, possibly as a partial result of the show's poor performance.
I've been doing Guava Juice for so long, I've missed my daughter's birthdays and friends' weddings.
This is what I mean. Like, you try to make content and low effort content to maximize your profits, and then when you gain views and you start earning money, you just become too hungry and you become like almost obsessed on having more. And then you miss your daughter's birthday or something like that. Hey, thanks Pokimane Real for the follow. I don't think you're the real Pokimane, but thanks for the follow anyways. That would be cool if you were, but I don't think Pokimane has a Kick account because that would go against Twitch's TOS. I think that's at least what I think. But yeah, like, you just burn out, and that's unfortunately happening to a lot of content creators because they just want to make more and more, and they think that the only way to become better and become more successful is doing more complicated things and more things that require more time. Then all of a sudden you just don't have time for anything else, and you just burn out. And that's one thing that you should avoid when you're doing content.
And I feel like there was just no balance to who I am as a person.
Guava Juice didn't specify why he was feeling so down. However, he wasn't ready to give up just yet, as he then released a second season of the show, which once again performed to a mediocre standard. At a couple 100,000 views per episode, Guava might as well have just continued making standard videos, and this wasn't even the worst part. Whilst producing the show's 26 episodes, Guava Juice lost touch with the one skill that had always guaranteed success: an ability to keep up with trends and the current YouTube meta. Prior to making the Guava Juice show, he was averaging maybe 700,000 views on his normal YouTube uploads. However, after the second season came to an end only 7 months later, it was rare to see any of his videos achieve more than 200,000 views. It seemed that Guava Juice had fallen into the misconception that if he split his time between YouTube and a TV show, he'd achieve double the amount of success, yet the opposite happened and his performance was instead cut in half. On top of splitting his time between two different forms of media, Guava Juice also had to worry about YouTube Shorts, his in-store products, as well as a bloody NFT project, which has to be one of the dumbest things you can launch as a creator, because it's so obvious that you're just trying to siphon some quick cash from the...
And that, I think that's the downfall of Guava Juice, is like, instead of sticking what he was doing and apparently enjoying, he decided to just try and make more money. And that complicated everything. And that's the reason why, like, having a lot of different projects and none of them are really successful, then you just feel like you should quit. Instead of having multiple projects that doesn't work, maybe have just one. And he had that.
Guava Juice's new low was established in a recent video titled My Future, in which he speaks as though his career is pretty much over.
I just want to say, from the bottom of my heart, I am very honored to be a part of your childhood.
His former excitement has transformed into boredom and complete apathy, as was highlighted during one of the video's announcements.
With growing in mind, I just want to let you know, for this channel, moving forward, I'm going back to my old roots, which is gaming. 2016, I made the channel because I wanted to create a gaming channel.
While Guava Juice gives off the vibe that he wants the videos to return to their former glory, it also seems like he's lacking the motivation and clear vision to get them there. And as a result, he's trying almost anything, including sympathy from the audience, to achieve an increase in viewership. However, this has only had the opposite effect, as most of his gaming videos struggle to achieve 100,000 views. Guava Juice has made it way too obvious that he doesn't have an interest in producing the content, and this lack of commitment shows in each and...
That's why when you all of a sudden get a lot of views and you get the fame, like, you just try to hold on to it, and then when you don't have that anymore, you just give up instead of, like, just keep doing it, because 70,000 views to 100,000 views a month, like a day, is still a lot, and you could just do those and live your life happily. But you have had more. So you just want to catch that lightning in a bottle again. And that's why you're mentally, like, exhausted all the time.
Every upload. The videos just feel a bit generic and aimless. A great YouTube video should be fresh and energizing, something that makes you want to click, just like the bathtub videos did during the channel's heyday. And while it's clear that Guava Juice is slowly rebuilding his intuition for what makes a great video, he's yet to return his skills back to a competitive level.
And I don't think it's just like Guava Juice. Like, this applies to a lot of content creators. But I'm a good example. Like, let's go to my YouTube page, and I can like my front page of YouTube, and what sort of videos I would click from here. Like, I would probably listen to some drumming, and you don't need to have a really fancy thumbnail for me to click on it. As you can see, a lot of my videos that I tend to watch doesn't really have that good of thumbnails at all. For example, well, Creeparian has basically the same thumbnail for everything, and this is more than enough for me. I've spent a lot of time, as you can see, I've watched a lot of the videos from here, technically daily, and Creeparian used to have a lot more views than this during the heydays of Hearthstone, but not anymore. And nowadays you can actually search the oldest. But this is more than enough. Like, Creeparian still makes 2 or 3 videos a day, and averaging 20 to 70,000 views. It's more than enough to make a career out of it. So you don't need to try and gain that 1 million views per video to be successful. But if you once had that, a lot of people want to have that again. And that's the trap that a lot of people fall into.